them to him or if he was holding them for somebody else. So if anybody either A, knows like, oh yeah, that's this suit that he used to wear during this thing. That belonged to his old man. See? Thank you. Wonderful. And also, if anybody has any personal connection to these items and would like to take them home, you are more than welcome to. We want to make sure they go to, you know,
deserving family.
Exactly, deserving family and loved ones. Thank you all so much for being here today. This has been already just such a, it's so strange to feel this much joy at a memorial. I think because, you know, we know how ridiculous and unique our friend was, and it just feels really good being with a bunch of other people who knew Greg, this wonderful person. And it's so nice also to hear these stories where you do see the, all the way from like total asshole to incredibly generous, compassionate, wonderful person. Boy, what a spectrum. All right, to continue in that style, okay, so we've already heard from one of the Muppets. So in just a second, we're gonna bring up Muppito. So Muppito, if you are out on the patio, please come to the stage. And while we're waiting for him, I will tell one little quick short story that one way that Greg really helped me out once. I mean, he helped me out many times, mostly by being super brusque about something that I was like, oh, tiptoeing around. And I had a dog who I loved very much, and I would joke, oh, Carl Dog's gonna live forever. And he was one of the people who was like, you can't say that. Okay, all right. And when he was 17, this dog lived so old, and I was really like pushing off, like, no, he could live forever. Until one day, Greg came over to pick me up to go out to one of the mafia places. And, great, Muppito, you're on deck. And he came upstairs and walked in and looked at this frail dog and just went, wow, that dog looks like shit. And it hit me. He does look like shit. And only Greg, with his way of just cutting clear through to the heart, could really, that set in motion the last like couple of months. And it was, I just really appreciated this person who was willing to just like cut straight through to the heart of the matter. All right, Muppito, please come on up. Let's hear from the other half of the Muppets.
Thank you. The nurse went through a whole slew of roommates. Are there any other roommates around? Mike?
And Shithorse.
Oh, Shithorse, yeah. Well, I think Wojo was a roommate too. Can anyone? Never mind. I got the mic. I'm talking. So, I was roommates with Greg for 17 years.
Whoa! Why?
Yeah, you might ask, why? I'm gonna go in a little different direction. In that time, you learn a thing or two about a person. Maybe something that didn't come up when carousing in bars or spending a day runching. The thing that I found out about Greg, that he's really not that comfortable with his nudity. I don't know how many of you have seen him naked. Yeah. It actually feels like it's a little surprising that it hasn't happened more often. Well, for me, it was not on the regular, but it happened enough that there was a certain pattern. So if you've been at our place, you'd go up the Volvic pink stairway, up into the Volvic pink hallway that kind of connected the bedrooms and his filthy, filthy bathroom. So I'd head up, it'd usually be sometime in the morning or when Greg would be waking up, which would be any time between like 9 and noon. So I'd head up to the stairway or perhaps put away some CDs in the shelving of the hall. And Greg would appear in his doorway in the buff. And his reactions, he'd either get this sort of deer in the headlights look and sheepishly close the door, which, the innocence of sheep and deer. Or he might acknowledge me with a, hey Joe, and scuttled to the bathroom to do his naked business. These brief, or perhaps briefless, moments reflected a different side of the nurse. No, not just his backside. Out in the world, you know what? He exuded a brash, very self-confident appearance. Just like taking the world on its own, it's like, take no prisoners. But exposed in his bedroom doorway, he displayed a certain vulnerability, and often sort of self-aware, oops. Or at least that happened around me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mapito, for that very clear mental image. And now, a person whose name I heard 1,000,000 times before I ever could put a face to it, and who is the entirety of my husband and my's impression of Greg, which is just Shecky the Jew. I now present Shecky the Jew.
Thank you for the introduction, and I am Shecky the Jew. So, I was going to tell a story about how Shitty got his nickname, and I'll tell you very briefly. I got drunk. I accidentally played this Earth, Wind, and Fire song, September, over and over again on the jukebox at Kentucky, and I blamed Shitty, and he got blamed for being shitty drunk, and that's how he ended up being Shitty from the nurse. Anyway, so, but seeing you and seeing all these friends, I want to tell the story about how I met my wife, and no, come on. Okay. So there's this device. It's called a Euroflow. All right. By the way. So I'm a medical student, and it's 1997 or something like this, and Kate will argue the year. It doesn't matter. So I'm a medical student, and I show up in the urology clinic, which is my first rotation as a third-year student, and for those of you who know, it's a very, very stressful time. There are a lot of people trying to get better grades. You really go, study, and finally you're seeing patients. We show up in our little white coats. We're very uptight, and I have this partner. He's a little older than me, and we don't look anything alike. We show up in the urology clinic first day, and the nurse looks at us and says, "Frickin' frack." And I'm arguing, then I'm frick, right? Because I'm uptight. But, anyway, again, we don't look anything alike, but he's pretending to confuse us, and he's just incredibly irritating and really bothering us. But I had heard that whoever could pee the most in the Euroflow, by the way, it's a funnel with a little fan in it, so it measures not only how much urine you can produce, but how fast you can produce it. It was really good if you have an enlarged prostate. And I'm thinking to myself, well, frack or frick, whoever, he's a little older than me, and my prostate's still pretty good, so I probably, can beat this guy. And get a good grade, because, the nurse is giving out grades. Whatever, and I'm thinking about this, and then I just sort of kind of perusing around, and I see